Well, the wait's almost over and Masters Week is here. Today we're speaking with Steve Bann from Augusta, Georgia, where he's busy preparing Stuart, Appleby and K.J.Choi for the Masters. Steve will be giving us daily updates this week on Skype. Steve, first of all, thanks for taking out time to do this. I know it's a really busy week for you, working with both Stuart and KJ, so first major of the year, has the excitement sunk in yet?
Well, I guess so. I mean, this is my 13th straight Masters with Stuart Appleby, and I first came here in 1993 with Ian Baker Finch. So the mystique of the place never really changes. But for me, this is the real start of the year. It's not January 1. It's Masters Week.
Just building on that, you must be used to traveling to a different tournament week in, week out for tournaments out on tour. What is it that makes this tournament so special for yourself personally?
Oh, look, I think it's the mystique, the history. When I was growing up as a young golfer, we'd tune in the early hours of the morning hoping that an Australian would eventually win this tournament, and it hasn't happened as yet. We've been close many times. The tragedies with Greg Norman, 96 in particular. There's just so much about this tournament that we just look forward to and just hope it's going to be a great week for Australian golfers.
So, I'm sure people are curious out there. Is there anything that your players might do differently in their preparation for a major championship, or do you like them to just treat it the same as any other tournament?
Now, look, we start probably 5 or 6 weeks out, and there's certain shots that we actually start to work on and try and introduce into tournament play that are specific for playing Augusta. But Augusta is such a unique golf course where most of the tournament that we play on the PGA Tour, run-up type shots and the bounce-up type shots that you need to play at Augusta. But in particular, if there's the opportunity to practice high long irons off sloping lies, we'll start that a few weeks out, and with Augusta in mind.
Okay, so how are the boys feeling going into this week? Stuart seems to be finding form at the right time with some solid performances in his last few starts.
Well, Stuart's hitting the ball like he was hitting it a couple of years ago when he was leading the Masters after 3 rounds. Last week was a very good ball striking week in Houston. It was a long week. We had 30 holes over the last 2 days, and they were 14 or 15 hour days because of the weather problems early in the week. His putting wasn't all that sharp last week. He hit a lot of good putts, but he's hitting the ball well. We had a practice round, not a practice round today. We chose not to because it was so cold and windy. Mm-hmm. But he hit some balls in the range and worked in the short game area, and he's looking good. And I know mentally he's ready to start playing a lot better in his mind than what he has been playing this year. It's probably been the slowest start he's had for quite a few years, and KJ's just a machine. He's just striking it on the practice fairway. He's actually missed the last couple of cuts, which is very unlike KJ. He's been making some equipment changes, not any great changes, but just changed his shaft and changed the loft of his clubs a little bit, and he's really happy with the feel of the way the ball's coming off the club at the moment. But I'm looking forward to both the guys having a really, really good week.
So Steve, on your website, puregolftraining.com, you speak about the 4 training factors for golf being the technical, physical, mental, and strategic factors. How important are the mental and strategic factors in a week like this?
Look, Augusta is probably the most strategic golf course that we play in the US. The British Open, which is a totally different style of golf, would be equal to it from a strategy point of view. It's how you position your golf ball, and what you then choose to do when your ball is out of position is what at the end of the week is going to decide who's the champion at this particular golf course. So it's very wide open fairways, and there's no rough at Augusta. So you think, well, from that point of view, it's quite an easy golf course to play, but that's not the case. Mentally, it is probably the toughest mentally, because you know that all week this week, particularly with the speed of the greens, you're going to be having to make 6, 7, 8 foot return putts to save par. And if you've got the mettle to be able to do that and keep making those all week, Mike Weir was a great example of that a few years ago when he won the Masters, where he never missed a putt inside 8 feet for the entire week. That's what you have to do, and mentally you've got to be ready for that, and it's way more than just technique.